What's up, folks? This is Detroit Miracle, and I am here to talk about all of that Star Wars bashing which is going on now and has been happening for years now, ever since Disney bought Star Wars from George Lucas. Look, fans, everyone said they didn't like the prequel trilogy before Disney purchased Lucasfilms from George. So, what was the reason for that? The prequel trilogy was within George Lucas's vision for Star Wars, and it was the origin story of Anakin Skywalker slash Darth Vader. And George gave the people many things that they did not expect them to, such as in the case with new exciting planets, epic lightsaber battles, and a bunch of stories within stories. But nevertheless, many fans say they hated it. So should not the fans have loved the prequel trilogy if they're going to turn around and bash Disney Star Wars for everything they bring out? And then people keep citing that, oh, it's not like the George Lucas original sequel of films. Well, there aren't many things that can live up to people's ideal perfections. Yeah, you can compare things between other things, but they might not live up to your expectations because it's not going to be exactly the same anyway. And if it was the same, people would claim that, oh, they're trying to replicate an existing story which was already done. Remember when they did that with The Force Awakens? They basically replicated and emulated a story from the original Star Wars New Hope film. And I don't have to get off into that because we already know. But nevertheless, the fans said they hated that. Hey, I found the Force Awakens to be reasonably entertaining, but I must say that I hated The Last Jedi. And The Rise of Skywalker was all right. And yeah, I thought that the sequel trilogy made by Disney wasn't as good as the prequel trilogy of Star Wars and the original trilogy of Star Wars. But I'm not gonna just bash the films because George Lucas didn't make the sequel trilogy. Yeah, and now everybody is on this Kenobi series bashing trip. Like their people are nitpicking the most tiniest things, and then they're running away with all types of overly critical statements rather than those people just sitting back and enjoying the series. A friend of mine once said that people tend to be overly critical about the Star Wars in this era, but what about all those years that they weren't making any Star Wars material at all? And my response was, so do you think people should be happy with what they are getting because it's better than nothing? And he said, yeah, man, people should be grateful and appreciative of what they're receiving because it's better than receiving nothing. And I had to think about that for a second. And I sort of agree with what he said, but at the same time, people do require a good quality of storylines, nevertheless. So you cannot just be appreciative with anything. And I must agree that people are right in their own ways about the Kenobi series because I have my things to nitpick it over as well. But what do you expect with what we're given? Obi Kenobi started off, he's been dormant for about 10 years as a ex-retired Jedi Knight who has basically done nothing in 10 years. He hasn't used the Force at all. He hasn't worked on any new lightsaber techniques. And I think that's dumb. I think that was a dumb way to start it off. I think with the threat of the Empire out there, I feel as though it would have been smart to have Kenobi trying to learn all the lightsaber techniques that he didn't know at first. We know that he's proficient in Form 3. I think it would have been smart if they had it like he was getting proficient in all the different forms of lightsaber combat, and he was learning new force abilities to prepare for when he had to train Luke Skywalker, and if he had to take a more active role into things against the Empire. I think that would have been smart to show that. And that would have been something that the fans could have appreciated. Like Obi-Wan just isn't sitting around doing nothing, but to have him dormant as an ex-Jedi Knight fits within the story because he was sent there by Yoda to look over Luke Skywalker. And that's all. That was his role. That was his job. And maybe if they had Kenobi tapping into the Force, then that might make him more easily to detect by the Emperor and Darth Vader. They'll be like, wait a minute, there's a strong disturbance from the Force coming from Tatooine. So I think you need to investigate it, Lord Vader. You know, that sounds like the Emperor. You know, the more you tap into something like the Force, then you could be detected. So it was another way to go with having Kenobi do nothing. But I think that the fans are overly judgmental in ways. And then the story is set for a 6 episode thing. And already the fans have condemned, or many of the fans have condemned that series without letting it play out to the conclusion. I would say, hey, at least wait until it plays out before you, I would say, be overly harsh towards the whole series because you don't know what the final episodes will bring to you. It might be some big shock waiting to surprise everyone for thrilling and excitement purposes. Okay, with that being said, I have to get off into the Black Inquisitor named Reva that everyone seems to hate and dislike. Look, I think it's terrific that they're finally using female Sith Lords in the film. I know they're saying she's not a Sith Lord, she's just an Inquisitor, but technically she's a Sith Inquisitor of the Inquisitorium, so they are still Sith. And I think it's real terrific. Isn't that what the fans have always been waiting on? Yeah, but we've seen female Jedi Knights in live action, but we've never seen a female Sith Lord. I think that's extremely cool. And the fact that she's black, hey, it's terrific because it shows that in the Star Wars universe that the writers and creators are unbiased like that, where they would cast a black female to play a prominent role as a Sith Inquisitor. So I think that part, the whole part of casting her is terrific, showing a woman like playing an evil, tyrannical type of character. Yeah, I've been waiting to see that. We keep seeing just men play the role of Sith Lords in live action. So I think it's terrific. It's great that they finally cast a female to play a tough, evil, villainous Sith Lord. Yeah, that's wonderful. Why wouldn't the fans like that? Another thing, the fans are saying, well, her lines are bad. Whoever wrote her character is a bad writer and this and that. But what about the Phantom Menace originally back in the day where Darth Maul might have had just 2 speaking lines? Darth Maul just spoke maybe 3 or 4 words and everybody loved him. But when you get a female character like Reva, who's a Sith Lord or a Sith Inquisitor, and she has that much speaking in that series, I think that's great. Hey, Darth Maul didn't even establish a backstory or establish a credible character identity before they killed him off But nevertheless, the Star Wars fans were thrilled and overjoyed at his character. But when you get a female Sith antagonist and give her or Sith female protagonist or one or the other and give her many speaking lines in a film, now everybody says it's bad writing and this and that. So let's go to Darth Vader. Now, people are saying, well, Vader is cool the way they used him, but in a way they underused him. And first and foremost, they saying, why would he let ObiWan Kenobi go? Why didn't he just rush through the fire and grab him out or something? Well, you don't know how Vader's mechanical parts will react to fire. They never said Vader was fire resistant at all. And besides that, it was a sniper that had high ground that was shooting at them. So you don't know that, hey, if you rush through that fire, that sniper isn't going to take pot shots at you. The fact that Vader didn't go through the flames was not like really shocking or terrible. Hey, there aren't many people that will walk through fire anyway. So isn't that smart that Vader didn't go through that fire or jump through it or jump in them? If he jumped in those flames and caught fire and was burnt up, then the fans would have said, oh, that's stupid writing. You had Vader do something stupid. That was dumb. And Darth Vader isn't stupid and dumb. He doesn't make stupid decisions like walking through fire. Like people would have said that. But since Vader waited and didn't run through those flames, everybody is saying, oh, that's bad writing. He should have walked through. Why would Vader be afraid of fire? Hell, Darth Vader was burnt alive, remember? So wouldn't that make him afraid of fire? Wouldn't it make him hesitant to walk into some flames? When we saw those flames were high and wide, so it would take him a hot minute to get through. Damn, people. Hey, we got a good Kenobi series going on. And we got new characters in Star Wars, and they have introduced new planets, but the people still aren't happy. Nevertheless, so that's an indication that you cannot please people, no matter what you do, no matter what you give them. And Disney has given the fans more Star Wars material thus far than George Lucas has, as far as in a live action. What about that? How many live action movies has Disney Star Wars given the fans? They've given them at least 4 live action films and about 3 live action streaming shows. Isn't that terrific? So the fans don't have to wait 10 years for another Star Wars film anymore. Like people are saying George Lucas is great and terrific, and I think George Lucas is a genius. He's a genius, innovator, creator, director, writer, all of that. I agree, but with George Lucas, you would have to wait sometimes like many years in between Star Wars series. But Disney is giving the fans more Star Wars material than they can hold, and the fans aren't appreciative of that. Now look, I'm not getting off into all of that identity politics stuff and saying, oh, they're trying to make female characters seem more smarter and more powerful than the male characters. I'm not doing that. Because when I watch a film, I try to sit there and get lost in it and have a good, enjoyable time. And that's what movies and films are designed to do. Now, if you sit there and nitpick over everything and be overly critical, then you're going to ruin your experience. So fans, y'all need to check yourselves and chill out. And give those Star Wars people a break, because they are providing a lot of good content for you. And yeah, it's not going to be perfect, and it's not going to be like what George Lucas would make, but George Lucas is retired. He sold the brand. So you can't expect George Lucas to make anything, and you can't expect anyone to be as great as George Lucas in regards to them making Star Wars material. That's not going to happen. I know some might say, but George Lucas could have been a consultant on some of those projects. I felt maybe he should have given them advice, but George Lucas did. He gave Disney an outline, he gave them scripts, and they didn't follow those. So, that means that Disney owns the brand and they can do whatever they want. And hey, even if their material isn't perfect, as long as it's reasonably entertaining for the time that you would immerse yourself into that film watching experience. So you have to think about that, people, and be cool. And hey, look, with the identity thing, yeah, I know at times Disney has done that in the Star Wars films. We've seen that, but every other film company has done the identity politics thing as well. We're trying to get their social message across in some way. There are many film companies other than Disney or Lucasfilms that have done that, but no one is jumping down their throats. There's numerous film companies. I think Disney overall has done a good job of, or Disney Lucasfilms have done a great job at giving people a lot of Star Wars content in the live action. You don't have to sit around 20 years or 30 years and wait for the next film project in a live action. And I think Disney has also given the fans some animated content. I believe The Bad Batch is a Disney Lucasfilm project as well. Yeah, fans, I just had to let y'all know that, man, chill out. Hey, it's just films, it's just a movie. It's not detrimental to your health and life. Duh. Well, folks, I'd appreciate it if you would give me those likes, comments, and up those subscriptions to me, Detroit Miracle. And peace out.